Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. If you're not subscribed to our channel yet, do that now. Tap the bell for notifications. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. We now have Chris back, so it's all four of us. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Chris?
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
Hey everybody, it's Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Britt Johnson. You can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson.
Hey Chris, what day is it today?
It's Hump Day! And again, another long week. I don't know about you guys. It's another long week. Another long one.
Can you fill us in on what you were doing yesterday? We saw some updates on Instagram. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that before we get into the news.
Yeah, not too much I can say just yet, but yes, if you go check out the IG, you can see on the stories, it should still be up. I was at Alexis event. It was pretty cool for upcoming series of season 4 for Alexis called 0 to 60, and we caught some content for you guys over there, but stay tuned. That's all I can really say. That's it. That's all I got. Nothing else I can say on that.
High profile.
All right.
I can't say anything else.
Super secret. So go to the Fumble Sports on Instagram to see what Chris was doing yesterday, get a little sneak peek in there. And now let's jump right into the first news story. This is a sneak peek as to what might come next season in the NBA. The Miami Heat is expected to be the most appealing spot for free agents or frustrated stars. According to The Ringer, quote, front office executives around the league believe the Heat have become the league's top destination for the next star with a wandering eye. Maybe it'll be a free agent or maybe a player under contract who will seek a trade in 2021. Since the Heat have good young players who could be traded in addition to first-round picks in 2025, 26, and 27. So the Heat has obviously made no secret of their desire to land big stars during the free agency period. And of course, whenever there's conversations about free agents, the first person that people want to talk about is Giannis. Some people believe that Giannis could trade in Milwaukee for Miami. Victor Oladipo is also rumored to be on the Heat's wish list. So, Chris, do you feel that the Heat is going to land free agents, and if so, or big free agents, and if so, who do you think is most likely to go to Miami?
I think this is a good rumor report, even though I don't normally enjoy a lot of these rumor reports. I think this is one of those where if I looked at it and saw like Milwaukee Bucks would be the possible next, I think I would look at it and laugh. But I actually think that this one's pretty on point. I just feel like people also have to remember that playing for the Miami Heat is not just a walk in the park. So we also have to remember what type of player it takes to go and play there. That being said, I feel like, if there is any destination that's not Milwaukee, I think Giannis is definitely, if he's going to go anywhere, I think Miami is one of the spots that I've been favored for that. But even though I know he's not going anywhere, he's staying for the Bucks. And another one I think that might happen is I think Victor Oladipo is going to make his way over to Miami to play alongside Jimmy Butler in that young squad that they got going on over there in Miami. I think that's the one I'm looking at the most to see if some kind of trade or something like that could happen to bring Victor over there.
All right. Well, so obviously the Miami Heat have had sort of a Cinderella story. They were not expected to be competing for the championship. So, Britt, how do you think the team was able to turn things around so well?
Their mentality. I mean, we reported the very first week of the bubble, Jimmy Butler got in trouble because he was bouncing his basketball in his room before they were allowed to leave out of their little quarantine. Like, he's been ready to go. He was the first player that changed his room into a little gym, and then players followed after. But I just think his energy the whole time, he knew it was the business trip the whole time. He never was going to bring any family or friends in once they were allowed to have it in. And I think when you're set and focused on that, you can just really focus on basketball, not the, oh, I can't wait till this day so my family can join me and this, that, and the third. Like, you kind of lose some of that grit that you need to get to the point where he was able to get to and bring his team to as like a leader on the team. So yeah, I mean, that whole team has kind of been built around like climbing from the bottom up. And I think that's what they really capitalized on while they were in the bubble. I mean, from Bam to like, Duncan to all these guys that were not, top draft picks ever, were guys that were just like second fiddle guys. Like, they really used that in their favor. They really used the fact that like, it's, we're not supposed to people don't expect us. We're going to just kind of creep in here by hard work and determination and, just confidence. And it got them to the point that they are at now.
Yeah, they've really been zeroed in, and I think it'll pay off. It paid off this season, obviously, but I think it'll also pay off next season. Jackie, what are your thoughts on Victor Oladipo potentially making moves to Miami? And then, of course, I just want to hear what you think about these Giannis rumors.
I've said for a while that I didn't think that the Victor Oladipo Pacers combination was working. I think he would actually, it would be good for him in Miami because we know that, like Britt said, Jimmy has that mentality. He's got that dog mentality. We see him on the sidelines, hyping up his players. He has no problems getting in your face. And I think that Victor would really benefit from something like that, having a dog like that on his team. So I like that move. I said from day one, too, that I also like the Giannis move because I think Giannis, with the exception of the once in a blue moon where we see him check somebody, that's literally happened twice in his career, if I remember correctly. But aside from those 2 times, he's just a really nice guy and he doesn't have that dog in him. So I think he would benefit from that, too. I did have a thought, the other day, kind of along what Britt said. Miami's not supposed to be here. But along that same token, even though they were like, 3rd seed or something like that, we didn't expect Denver to go as far as they went. So I would love to see Denver start getting into these talks as well, because I think that they're just one superstar away from having an entirely different team next season. So, the Giannis rumors, we've said it time and time again. I don't believe he's going anywhere right now. I just don't see it happening. But if he did, I actually probably like the Victor Oladipo to Miami a little bit better, at least right now, because Giannis has his contract, But so I like that one a little bit better. But either way, I think Jimmy's going to bring out the best if either one of them end up there.
And then, Britt, just because I heard Chris and Jackie's thoughts on Victor going to Miami, and they seem to think that it would be a good fit, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's a good fit. I don't have anything else to add of relevance other than what they said, so I don't want to repeat what they've already said. So, yeah, I agree with them on that I think he would be a good fit. And he can start.
All right, you guys will
clear more probably in Miami, perform there.
yeah.
Right.
That's so true. All right, well, for those of you tuning in live, let us know what you think about Victor Oladipo going to Miami. And also, is it really possible for Giannis to make the move from Milwaukee to Miami? We obviously do not think he's going anywhere, but his name comes up in these kinds of conversations all the time, so it's worth discussing. Now, let's talk about Kevin Durant. So KD apparently will not be leaving the Brooklyn Nets anytime soon. According to the Player Tribune, the belief is that, quote, as of today, that was specified in there, as of today, the Nets will be his last stop. So that means Brooklyn will have KD on their team for a while now. It is refreshing to hear players commit their loyalty to a certain team. We've seen a lot of superstars do that before. They make that commitment. They stay there for a long time. But I guess I wonder if KD really is committed for the long haul. Jackie, do you believe him when he says this?
No. I mean, I think he's probably he has to be committed right now. That would be, all those little snake things that people say about him would be quite relevant if you just, recovered from your injury and then bounced. That would be ridiculous. So I believe him right now. But I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. You left a team that couldn't beat the Warriors and went to the Warriors. So I don't, when you do something like that, I don't put anything past you. I think he's good there right now. As far as his final spot, I would never co-sign on that. I think he's capable of bouncing at any moment after things don't go his way. So I would never co-sign on that.
Britt, if KD does stay with the Nets and makes that his last stop, do you think that would be a smart move for him?
Yes, because he's had so many of those, cupcake stuff and all this kind of stuff against his character and against his, who he is as a player and all of this kind of stuff. Obviously, nobody can deny his talent. He is one of the best players in the league. He is super talented, athletic guy, but people always question the character issue or that part of it, which I think has left him out of a lot of conversations when it comes to who the greats are sometimes just because of that. So I think him deciding to finish his career with the Brooklyn Nets, whether or not they're able to bring a championship home or not, I think would kind of because people forget it's always what have you done for me lately, and if he can go there and grind it out and be this player for the remainder of his career, and to be fair, his career is going to be over, or not his career. His contract with the Nets is going to be over when he's 34 years old. So that is saying a lot, because it's saying that then he would sign another contract with the Nets.
Right.
So now we're talking about him there the last 8 years of his career, 7-8 years of his career. Literally, people would forget about the first 12 years of his career where he was bouncing around in the second and the third. We'll completely forget about it. We won't even remember the 2.5 years he was with Golden State, or we won't remember the moments he even was drafted by the Supersonics and went to OKC. Like, if he stays in Brooklyn for 7 years, because he will get another contract at 34. He's not going to be done playing at 34. If he stays there 7 years, I think like he is going to change the conversation we're having about him completely.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Chris, how do you think the Nets will go? How do you think the Nets will do in the 2020-2021 season?
Now it's just 2021 season.
Right, just 2021 season, right?
Yep, the 2021 season.
It's crazy.
Let's see. That's my answer. Let's see. Let's see how the Nets do in the 2021 season. That's all I got on that.
Well, hope do you for sure.
I know. That's why I gotta ask Chris.
Yes, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to seeing. Yeah. Oh, yes. Let's see. No, I'm no hate. We'll see. We'll see.
I think
the only time that we get pettiness from Chris.
The moment that keeps pushing back the season, though, is only benefiting the Brooklyn Nets, because it's letting.
That's true.
Even if Kevin Durant and Kyrie weren't completely healthy, even though they both say they are, this literally the pushback of the season is working wonders for them. Like, it's going to be so good for the Brooklyn Nets, because they've been injury prone with those guys. So it's like the longer they get of a break, the better it is for them, because they're still young guys. It's not like they have a time clock on them.
It also gives them more time to do more podcasts together and continue to kill the chemistry of their team. So you're right. So I mean, you could take it on either way, but it's fine. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the Brooklyn Nets.
100% healthy Kyrie, who thinks he's supposed to be. 100% healthy Kyrie, who thinks he's supposed to be Batman, knowing he's like that. That is going to be the most hilarious thing. I personally can't wait. I wish we could have like an NBA Hard Knocks thing with just the Nets, because the outtakes are going to be fabulous, and I am looking forward to it.
Why do we not have an NBA Hard Knocks? Is this
I
something
don't know. I have no idea.
But if we get that, the Nets need to be the first team, hands down. There's the first team.
The Last Dance was low key a Hard Knocks kind of situation, so maybe the NBA is going to thinking of doing
figure it out. They better,
because remember, Golden State Warriors were supposed to do in their 73 season. We're supposed to, or 72 season. We're supposed to, 73. Yes, supposed to do something like that, and they said they didn't want to do it.
They didn't want to do it.
So, come on.
But if you do that, give the Fumble Day 20%, because it was clearly our idea. So
have we got our 20% yet, Jackie, on any of the ideas we come up with?
I'm still waiting for money from what team was it that stole our thing? Was it the?
Yes.
For a lot of checks. A lot of checks.
Yes, give us our money, man.
Okay, I want to get this conversation back on track really quickly one last time, because I still have another question for Chris before we move on into the post-up. Chris, what are your thoughts on KD saying that he's committed to the Nets for the rest of his career? Are you inclined to believe him, or do you think that all it's going to take is, 2 bad seasons for him to be ready to jump ship again?
Unbiased. Be unbiased. All right. So, you know what? taking off the Knicks hat, I'm going to completely co-sign with everything Britt Johnson said, because if I take off my Knicks fandom hat, I think that's the case. I think we're going to completely, if he does and he ends up staying there, and like Britt said, gives a solid 6-7 season career with the Nets, we'll forget about the snake and all the other stuff that we said about Kevin Durant, and then he'll have a different kind of narrative around his name. Now, whether you are asking me if I think it will happen, my answer is the same as how I feel like their season will go. Let's see. That's all I got for that. But I do agree. If it happens, I think Britt has on the head where a lot of people will already forget everything else that happened in the past that gave him some of the negative names that he's gotten.
Well, I guess we'll just have to see if he's going to be motivated enough to clean up his reputation to stick around.
Right.
The only time that we get petty, Chris, is when we're talking about the Nets, and I kind of love it. So I'm always down to have the Nets conversations with Chris around. Okay, you guys, well, that wraps up Need to Know News. So tell us what's happening in the post-up, Chris.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Post-Up with your boy Chris, Quarantine Edition. Now, before we move into it, I just need to know, was there a post-up yesterday, and who did it? I just want to know. Like, how did that go?
No, we skipped it. We skipped it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, there was some times where I heard you guys were trying to do the post-ups. I just want to know if it got better. I didn't know. Okay. All right. Okay.
Now, we did get the beatbox for Britt's takes, and I don't know, your job is in question. It is in question.
Devin killed that?
Oh, he killed it.
It's always Devin coming after me. I tell you, Devin is the Zion who listens to my LeBron James. I'm telling you, I don't understand what you have against me.
Okay, great.
You better watch out. You better watch out. Coming for you.
Oh, God.
But speaking of LeBron James, this is going to be our first moment in Post Up today, because as a lot of you may have seen, or you might have missed it because it happened so damn quick, LeBron James made sure that he got his instant revenge on Tyler Hero after he had his little smirk after Game 3, after he hit that and one and went to the free throw line, and people were saying, it was on LeBron James, whatever it may be. LeBron James had his Michael Jordan moment because it became personal for him. So Sports Nation did a great job on Twitter. If I get the first one up, they did a good job putting this whole story together, where you see Jason Kidd and the coaches showing him to play like, LeBron, before we play today's game, don't forget this. And then it was a picture of Tyler Hero, like this one right here, the smirk. If you can get it. Oh gosh. Well, you guys are all right. Well, that one. So that's the picture LeBron James seen on the screen, which led to this moment right here with Tyler Hero being completely bullied by untouched LeBron James. Now, the joke I've had for LeBron James since he has touched an NBA basketball court was, I always say, every time LeBron is in the fast break, and my homies just say it, I'll always be like, choo-choo, because you just do not want to be in LeBron's way in the fast break, because this man is going to get an and one, or he's going to dunk on you to the point where LeBron will say, watch your head, because it's happened time and time. I don't care if he's 35 or 21. LeBron James has that patented. So Tyler Hero didn't get the memo. But for those who may have missed the moment, let's watch this in real time with the video right here. Watch Tyler Hero look like a little baby. Look at this.
Butler, here comes the double team. Back out Robinson.
Give me this.
Stolen by James.
Choo-choo!
James drives, goes inside and throws it down.
Tyler, just run out the way, get ready to inbound the ball. What were you thinking you were going to do? What did you think you were going to do? Now, Tyler did go on to have a good game that game. I'll give you credit for that. But that moment right there, he just got sunned by LeBron James. And
I have a question, Chris.
Please.
So I ended up doing this story last night for our NBA Finals coverage, and all the fans in the comments said that Tyler Hero flopped. They said LeBron didn't touch him. That wasn't LeBron hitting him, that he flopped. So I need to go to the panel. I need to go to the comments. What do y'all think? Was that a flop, or did LeBron James do the darn thing?
I think it was a combination. I think it was.
That's my answer.
I think LeBron definitely hit him, but I think there was that sort of like, oh damn, and then I think he just got a little overzealous with the acting, and then just took himself out.
Well, that's just a gamble he shouldn't have made. That was definitely a gamble that Tyler Hero should not have made, because now we're here talking about him on this show, and I'm sure we're not the only ones on the internet that were talking about him after last night. There's a ton of memes about Tyler Hero about that. But yeah, I think it was a combination of both. LeBron James just choo-chooing his way to the hoop, and Tyler Hero trying to get a foul from it, and it did not work. So Tyler Hero, nice try. But we had a bit of a sad moment in that before the Heat game, and that was watching Goran Dragic have to make the decision whether or not he was going to play. Now, before the game even tipped, they were saying that Goran Dragic moved from doubtful to questionable, and that he was going to work out and warm up in the beginning of the game to see how he's feeling on that hurt foot. And video caught him making his answer. Like, you can see it where the coaches are asking, like, do you think you can make it? And he's thinking about it. Very sad about it, and he says, I don't think I can do it. See, that's man, like, I was like, yo, and the zoom in, and he's sad about it. I'm like, yo, the cameraman that was there for that moment, like, that hurt my heart just seeing that, because you could tell, because Goran Dragic, we talked about it so many times, I've said it, this dude is probably just as responsible, if not a little bit more so, than Bam Adebayo or Jimmy Butler for the reason why this team is even in this position. Because in the last series, he was leading scorer and leading assist giver in the Eastern Conference Finals. Before that, leading scorer, and series before that, leading scorer. So Goran Dragic is very important for this team. You can tell that he wants to be out there with the guys. He was even quoted saying when the injury happened, he asked God, why right now? Why did this have to happen right now? So you got to feel for the guy. And he went out there and tried. The dude is a warrior, but unfortunately he was not able to play last night. But who knows? Maybe there's still a moment where he'll be able to play, because the Heat need him, because they are facing elimination tomorrow. But, yeah, seeing that moment was rough. It was really sad, really sad. But from a sad moment to a hyped-up moment right across, I don't know necessarily what it is. I just know it's in the same state, in a different bubble in the same state. The Seattle Storm went on to win the NBA championship, and they were hyped up, and they did it in great fashion against MVP Asia Wilson and the Aces. And Brianna, she's look at her. She is a whole mood. She's out there swagging in front of the Zoom call interviews or whatnot. Got her champagne ready to go. Got the full shaded out goggles on right now. Like, I love this. So she went from holding it to straight up taking a whole swig right while a question was being answered. So Stu was a whole mood in her post game. But she had a hell of a series. Her and Sue Bird, like, they just played really well in that WNBA final. So shout out to the champs over there. That one is done, and they got their champion in the Seattle Storm. So shout out to them and congratulations to them. But staying in Florida, news is coming out that Russell Westbrook, he had a little bit of a nice moment. Now, when I was here last on Monday, we showed him being, Mr. Westbrook, teacher Westbrook, teaching his little kids on how to on the different colors and whatnot. It was a cute moment, and we had another really dope moment by Russell Westbrook, just showing that his mama did a great job raising her son, because not only did he make sure that his room was well put together, kept it tidy. I don't know about you guys. My parents taught me that no matter where you stay, whether it's a hotel, whatever, even though they have housekeeping, you got to make sure you leave that room as close to the way you found it before you leave a hotel. And that's seeing that, Russell Westbrook was somebody with all the money and, could care less about kind of stuff. He was another person that did something like that. But on top of that, he tipped $8,000 for the people who were doing all the housekeepers and everything that were helping out behind the scenes for the Rockets, or specifically for Russell Westbrook in the Grand Floridian. This tweet came out by Brad Townsend that tweeted out saying, only Russell Westbrook could be able to truly confirm this, and I doubt he will, but I'm told that he left an $8,000 tip for the Grand Floridian housekeepers when the Houston Rockets left the NBA bubble. Moreover, I'm told he left the room virtually spotless. So this whole thing, like, Russell Westbrook, I'm telling you, this dude is a completely different monster when he's on the court, but off the court, we got to remember, this guy is a whole cool dude. And seeing this was really, it made me feel, it's good. It's a good feeling seeing, that player with money and stuff like that still has his morals in check. So seeing him do that was pretty dope. And his mama did him right. Yes, Devin, what's up?
Okay, I did this as a story this morning, and I thought it was really generous of him, and I really gave Russell a lot of kudos and applause for leaving an $8,000. Yeah, there's a but, because on my story there's a comment that says that's like someone making $50,000 a year and a $10 tip. Yeah, it's nice, but $8,000 is nothing
that was
for
coming.
Westbrook. I know, I knew it too, but like I think what people are missing here, because I get that he's got a ton of money, so $8,000 is like nothing for him, but nobody expects to walk into a room and receive $8,000 in tip money. So I think he probably would have made a good impression leaving $200, but he left $8,000, and sure, he could have given more. He has a ton of money, but I think it was generous.
See, I had to ignore. I have to ignore. I knew those were coming. You got to ignore those because nothing is going to be enough unless Westbrook dropped his entire Rockets contract on the bed before he left. People are going to be upset with whatever he left behind. So that don't surprise me.
Right.
Who was the guy we were just talking about last week that left like a $10 tip on a $600 bill? You just can't please people. It's
Henry Ruggs.
Leave your whole check. Or get shamed. That's apparently the rule. So I don't know. Maybe the $10 tip was warranted now because you're gonna get talked about either way. This is
regardless.
Ridiculous.
That's fact. That's right. We tore this dude up for leaving a $10 tip, and now people are still tearing up Russell Westbrook for leaving $8,000. You're so right about that. Whatever. I love the whole gesture. I love the entire story. So whatever, Westbrook, you got the seal of approval over here from the Fumble, because that was a dope moment for you for sure. My goodness. But sticking to basketball, oh man. So Devin said that you could truly get Petty Chris when we talk about the Nets. Well, there's another way you can get Petty Chris, and that's when we talk about a certain player on the New York Knicks, where it's number 30, and that's Julius Randle. Well, we have a cute moment, but also saw that coming kind of moment when Julius Randle's kid, who is my favorite. I love Kyden Randle. That is his son. This dude is almost as big as his dad already, and he's got to be. I don't even know if he's older than 5 yet, but this kid is a big kid, and he's got to be following his dad's footsteps playing basketball. But he's out here playing organized basketball for the first time in his life, and unfortunately, he took in some of his daddy's genes because he's out here trying to get the ball and got frustrated to the point where he had to go over and teach the little man, "You give me the ball when I call for the ball." To the point where he looked right at Dad. He's like, my bad, Dad. Sorry, yeah. I saw you do that with the Knicks, so I thought that I was supposed to do that too. I didn't know. Yeah, he's like, Daddy, I've seen you do that before, Dad. I didn't know that wasn't allowed. Like I just thought it was like, damn. So, someone else get Julius Randle's son out of here. Like, can we help him out? Like, don't let him be like his daddy. Like, come on, someone help him out. But I just thought that was an adorable, funny moment.
Maybe his son's gonna play football. Maybe he'll.
That's what I thought.
Look, built like it. Yeah, he is built like he's ready to play football today for sure. Also, my other thing too, and I gotta bring this back to Julius Randle. Why the hell are you patting him on his back for that? Like, I'm not saying discipline. I'm not saying get mad at him, but it's like, it's okay, kid. Yeah, you knocked him over. Just don't do it again next time.
He was saying, good job, but don't do that in public. No, I thought that was a good job, don't do that in public. That's not what we do in public. We do that at home, not in public.
Oh, good kid. I love him. He is adorable, man. But yeah, funny moment for sure. And another, I don't know if I can say this is a funny moment because I don't know what's going to come from this, because this is one of the things I was a little bit afraid of, because you can't help human nature, and this is a situation like that. Well, we saw the news today where Stephon Gilmore, cornerback of the New England Patriots, he had tested positive for the coronavirus right after we were hearing that Cam Newton had tested positive for coronavirus over the weekend, leading to the game being postponed to Monday. But the thing that has a lot of people a little bit worried was after their game on Monday night, Stephon Gilmore had a very long moment with Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs, to the point where they were hugging and they were having a close conversation. And this was Monday before the report came out that he had tested positive this week. So now everybody is in arms and is scared and worried for what's next. People are talking about protect Patrick Mahomes. What are we going to do? But I think the real question comes down to, this was the worry a lot of people had because we went this entire time where we were having, a lot of clear tests. Everything was going well, and people were thinking like, "Yo, this could be it. We could be okay. Everything could be working out with all the regulations that we have." But Britt Johnson, I want to talk to you on this one. Like, do you think that this right here? I'm not gonna go as crazy as a lot of people on Twitter and say this is the beginning of the end. But do you think that this is the beginning of a lot of bigger issues that the NFL is going to have to worry about? Because now, if we hear that Patrick Mahomes is positive with coronavirus as well, and who knows who he touched or was in contact with his own team, and so on and so forth. What's to come next now? Like, what do you expect to see happen next after a situation like this?
Okay, this might sound mean, but it's not. It's not, because I really feel like it's better to say this.
Okay.
Why would Patrick Mahomes be different? Why is his health more important than anybody else's in the league? You know, like Cam Newton just had it. So why weren't we talking him in the same breath or whatever? Everyone wants to continue as, you know, oh, we're just going to keep going. But if Patrick Mahomes gets it, protect it by all means. No,
Right.
like, I'm sorry. Like, if we've been pushing so far, we need to keep pushing on. And not that I don't care if Patrick Mahomes gets it, but I don't care any more or any less than any other NFL player that gets it, because it can be detrimental to anybody. And we've seen what it's done to people have been losing games already because of it. And again, like Jackie keeps saying, we don't know about the long-term effects on anybody. So I don't want anybody to get it in the NFL. But if they decided, they're grown men, they decided they could have opted out of this season if they wanted to. They decided to play, and that's what it is. This is something you're going to have to deal with. And Patrick Mahomes already knew that Cam Newton had tested positive for it, which is why the game was put Monday in the first place. So to go through this whole situation, and you want to be close to whatever, he could have very easily said, hey, I'm not going to talk to anybody after the game. I'm not going to do high fives. I'm just going to go straight into the locker room, because we don't know if you guys tested negative right now, but that could have been a false whatever situation. That was his decision to go out there and to talk to people and be close to people as well. So that's just what's going to happen. Then you're going to get it. And I mean, you're out a week or two, and maybe another team gets a chance to win. I mean, really, the Kansas City Chiefs have been relatively, as a whole, completely healthy during this whole entire time, which is great for their record, which is why they're still undefeated. But there are a lot of teams, unfortunately, not unfortunately for you, but the Falcons, if you watch Monday Night Football, Falcons game, their secondary was dropping like flies. They already had been dropping like flies before that. And so we've seen so many other teams deal with injuries, some teams dealing with COVID a little bit. Like, obviously, to have your star player out for the Patriots, that hurt them too, their quarterback out, So it is what it is. Like, I think if he gets it, he already knew that somebody on the Patriots had it, so he should have decided not to be around them. And he's not more important than any other player in the NFL to me.
I hear you on that. I think that's a very good point, because once we heard it was Patrick Mahomes, everybody was in arms. But we heard Cam Newton, was like, oh no, Cam. So yeah, you're 100% right on that. But Jackie Ray, I have a separate question for you. Do you think that the turnaround for the Patriots, like Britt had mentioned, that they had made a decision to then move the game to Sunday and continue to play, do you think that the turnaround was a little too quick, especially not knowing that there could have been a possibility like this happening? Do you think that the turnaround was too quick, and that's something that could possibly lead to more problems in the future, or maybe a better solution in the future for something like that to happen again?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I said on my Twitter. I was like, this doesn't make sense, just to postpone the game a couple of days, because we know that there literally could be, that's with any virus. I could have it right now and test negative for it right now, but on Friday I have it, you know what I mean? Because it takes time to fester in your system. So I just thought that was irresponsible on the part of the NFL. I get it. They're doing everything they can to push this season through. Theoretically, I get it. There's only 16 weeks. We're not talking about a really long season. So when you're talking about the regular season, so I get that they really want to try to push this through, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense to say, okay, we're just going to push it back 2 days, because in 2 days, somebody who's negative is going to test positive. And then you're like Britt just said, you're subjecting everyone else to potentially get it. And then I get, I 100% agree that, Patrick Mahomes isn't better than anybody else, except for he has a $500 million contract. So now it's like, if the $500 million man gets it, then everybody's like, oh God, what are we going to do? It's just, money talks. So I think they put everyone on that field in a very precarious position. And I don't think they should have done that.
Yeah, I think the turnaround could definitely be in question, but we'll see how this is handled from then on out. I mean, maybe they'll just continue to push on through, and then hopefully this figures itself out. I don't know what's to come next, but we're definitely going to find out because I don't even think Patrick Mahomes made a statement. I don't know if he's supposed to make a statement. I don't know. But, that situation came out, and then this video was just all over my timeline after the initial news.
But what would he say? I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying.
What would he say?
I don't know if he would, right, but that's a good question. I don't know. What does he say? I don't think he needs to say anything.
Because you're in contact with these players the whole freaking game.
And
then I take a moment to give him a hug and y'all are mad about that. That's a stupid thing to address. I don't even know what he would say if he would say anything.
Yeah, no, 100%. But we'll see. We'll see what happens from that. But I think, like you said, I think the turnaround was definitely a little bit questionable. And definitely like what Britt said, I think the fact that we're shedding more light to Patrick Mahomes, I think, it's the same thing regardless of the player. I understand money talks, but still, regardless, same shit. But we'll see. But I'll tell you what's not the same is because you think you got away with painting your hair with the Sharpie, and then years later you think that we forgot you're going to decide to paint your beard with a Sharpie, and you think you're going to get away with it. I'll tell you that's not okay. Carlos Boozer, I'm talking to you. A lot of people in the chat right now may or may not remember the moment where Carlos Boozer, back when he was on the Bulls, he thought it was a good idea to go out there and paint his head by the first quarter, and then by the fourth quarter be bald all over again. People, we don't forget those kind of things. This is meme culture, Carlos Boozer. Well, he can care less because he went on for a whole DraftKings promotion on his IG and did the same thing, but except with his facial hair. And I'm so glad because Kevon Stage, who was one of the funnier dudes on Instagram, got a hold of him and went in on him. Now, this video is about 2.5 minutes long, so I need you guys to watch the entire thing, but I want you guys to watch the beginning of this roast session. It was actually pretty damn funny, so here's that video.
Carlos Boozer, this is Kevon Stage, a fan of your former basketballing. I know you're wrong for this.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Booze. Basketball finals are here. Get in on the action with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and place your bets for your shot at winning big. Bet $10 to win $50 on any team you pick to win the finals.
Now, Carlos, we can see you, brother. We can see that beard line drawing in. You know we know, right? And I get it, brother. I get it, because my beard don't connect all the way. Look, it's light here. It's, a little loose there, You know what I'm saying? So I understand, brother.
I get it.
But as a friend of yours, whom we never met, you can't.
As a friend of yours who we've never met, you can't do it. And that's the facts. Because, I get it. For whatever reason, I am beard deficient right here. Only probably a year ago, my thing started to connect. And even this, I don't even think it's really connected. I think it's just the Fu Manchu that just went into my beard. So I don't even know if I can count that. But, I get it. You want to keep it together. A lot of people, this is a situation that happens, but they get it colored in with their initial beard line. This man looked like he let his kids do it and just went right across his face, connected it on here. It's just not a good look. And then just knowing that you already guilty of going through something like this before. Come on, Carlos Boozer. Come on. I could not co-sign this at all. And I'm glad that Kevon was the one that got a hold of this.
Did DraftKings see this before he put it out? Because if I was on DraftKings, I'd be like, no, we're just going to do audio and put a whole bunch of DraftKings pictures up because it looks like we're not paying people with this Sharpie beard.
Would you really do that knowing damn well that he's probably going to get more clicks because people are going to be so worried about his damn hairline, so that DraftKings is going to get their views on this video, on this sponsored video?
No, I don't know, because I'm not playing DraftKings because they don't pay. Clearly, that's what my thought process. They don't pay. If all he can afford is a Sharpie, DraftKings does not pay out. I'm not joining. I'm not doing it.
Or those really fancy crayons that I don't know if people still use them, that we used in art class back in. Pastel. Those pastels. Those are oily pastels. That's what that was.
The oil.
Yeah.
No.
Oh man, got his face before his big sponsorship, but I'm so glad that someone got hold of it. Go check out the page. He did a 2-minute video on it. It is hilarious, and he breaks it down perfectly. But to send us off, I gotta send us off with a knuckleheaded kid. And to be honest, I think this dad had every right to do what he did to little man, because First of all, when you see this video, you'll see that it is day 18 of the quarantine, and you could tell that this is not the first time Lil Man was in the back annoying his dad. Pops was just trying to enjoy his barbecue time while listening to his Michael Jackson when Lil Man over here, like, hey, dad, giggling and whatnot. Go get the ball, son.
Oh, my gosh.
Completely co-signed. I have no problems with this. Completely co-signed. First of all, Dad just showed you a lesson in defense. Don't take it off the ball, kid. Second of all, he's also showing you a lesson on rebounding. The ball can go anywhere. Be prepared. Now go get the ball. I co-sign with Dad on this one, 100%. Do you guys think Dad was out of pocket for this, or a Little Man deserved it?
I don't know. Patience is not my virtue.
We don't know what was going on before.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's true too. Like, I need to know what the context, like what happened beforehand. Was he doing this all 18 days? I don't know. Either way, it could be day one, and I'm still co-signing with Dad. Like, no, get out. You want this burger? Do you want this burger? Then get the ball out of my face. Like, get out.
Did he make the kid go get it though? That's the question. Like, did you make the kid run into the?
It looked like the dad was about to go and get that ball. He turned right back around and kept grilling. Like, I don't think he would have hit the ball. Yeah, no.
The kid was definitely running into the field getting the ball.
That's what I'm like. That's like a scary forest.
Take time. Go ahead. I see you, son. It went right into his view on the grill. I see you, son. Go get it.
Property.
Yeah, right.
Here over that cone over there in the corner.
Right.
Right.
Watch out for that wolf, boy. Watch out for that wolf right there. It's all right. You got it. You can handle it. Nah, that's it for me, folks.
Survival skills.
All right, Chris. Thank you so much. Now, Jackie, tell us what we not gonna do.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging with us. I'm your girl, Jackie Ray. We're going to get into this What We Not Gonna Do road together. This one is actually so exciting. Chris touched on it a little bit, but we closed out part of the bubble. So the WNBA finished their finals last night. The Seattle Storm swept the Las Vegas Aces. It was really sad. It was 59-92. That was crazy to me. I've never seen that was so sad. But aside from seeing that first bubble close out, there were all kinds of records last night. I was so excited for all the ladies. First, Breanna Stewart, Chris already showed, she was a whole mood. But she has won 6 championships in 8 seasons. That's crazy to me because she led UConn to 4 national championships, and there she was named a Final Four's most outstanding player 4 times, and then has 3 National Players of the Year. It is the 4th in WNBA title for the Storm. That's so cool to me. The team also set a WNBA record and now has won a record 11 games in a row in the finals. Their first one dating back to 2004. And that's the craziest part of this to me because on that 2004 team, Sue Bird was there. And Sue Bird is one of my favorite humans in the world, especially her and her girlfriend, Megan. I just love them ever so much. So I love seeing her in this moment. But I think I'm in such awe of her sometimes that I forget that she's really dope off the court and she's dope on the court. But she literally has won a championship in 3 different decades. Some of y'all in the chat ain't even old enough to remember her first actual win because she won in 2004, 2010, 2018, and now, of course, in 2020. She becomes the first player in WNBA history to win titles in 3 different decades. For comparison, there's only 2 NBA players who have done that, and that is Tim Duncan and John Sally. So huge congratulations out to her. I just want to say thank you so much because she's also turning 40. Was it next Wednesday? So the 16th, next week, She's turning 40. She hasn't mentioned on whether or not she plans on coming back and playing, but you guys know we don't like doing these predictions here, but they're already predicting that if she does come back, that her and Breanna will together, if they're both healthy, because, injuries have plagued them as well. If they're both healthy, they're predicting that the Storm will win again. So that'll be crazy. So, well, I just don't want to miss this chance. What I'm not going to do is miss this chance to say thank you so much to Sue and Breanna for getting out there and really representing for the WNBA and so many little girls. I actually saw my god niece on Instagram yesterday going on and on cheering for the game because her mom actually had her watching that game and she's so excited. She had a basketball in her hand and that just kind of warmed my heart. I teared up a little bit because it's just so dope to see these young girls have these kinds of role models. So thank you. Shouts out to Sue. I don't really have any questions on that one. I just had to take a moment.
I just want to add though, we can't act like the Aces are some kind of scrubs either. Like we can't.
Right.
This was against a good team, and to put up 90 some points in that
Right.
game, finals or not. Like that, the whole thing like is definitely something that should be
like-
applauded. So yeah, I'm with you on this one for sure.
Yeah.
And like to add another thing to Sue's thing, she's now like one of I think 11 total players ever to win. Like 'cause she won 2 championships at UConn. She's won these 4. She's won gold medals. She's won with other leagues that she's played for overseas as well. Like she's like one of 11 players to win 4 championships in different like whether it's NBA or WNBA,
Leagues
college, overseas, Olympics, like it is crazy. What she has done, and like Jackie always talks about what a 36, 35.
35, yeah.
Like Jackie just said
40.
she's 39 years old.
She'll be 40 on Wednesday.
I remember like a couple weeks ago that huge game that she had where after she dedicated the game to Kobe Bryant and stuff like that, and like she's just like incredible, like literally incredible.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just so beautiful to see, my little niece, my god niece, and just cheering for Sue. And then like when the confetti's coming down and like she's just all excited. And it's just the WNBA has grown so much since its conception, and I just love to see that the attention that it's getting, and even the NBA getting behind it. This is an unprecedented time, so I'm really excited for what we're seeing in the WNBA. So congratulations to the ladies out there. Well done indeed. Now, like I said, we don't really know what next season is going to look like for anybody in the WNBA. We don't know what it's going to look like for people in the NBA, the Pelicans, Pacers, Rockets, OKC, Clippers. I think that's it. That need head coaches. If I'm missing one, let me know. But Steve Nash is with the Nets now, and I've always said that that's going to be like an interesting dynamic to see. I think it's going to implode. I'm here for it. But there's also contracts that are expiring. We talked about that. So there's so many moving pieces that are happening right now that I don't know if we can say right now how good anybody's going to be, what any new head coach is going to do, what any movement is going to mean for the team. We need time to see that. So I was a little surprised to last night see this huge headline that says Doc Rivers is already a nightmare for the 76ers. And I'm like, how, Sway? I need answers. But we talked several times on this show, but that Joel and Ben Simmons, unfortunately, they do not work. So, of course, that's going to be the first question that Doc was asked when he was introduced to the 76ers on Monday. His answer is troubling to me, but I'm just going to let you guys take a listen and you tell me what you think.
Well, the first thing I do is give the gym a little longer to give you that answer. But the second part is this. They've won 65% of the games that they've played in, right? So it clearly works when they play together. If you've watched my teams, I rarely say that the guy's a 1 or 2. I don't get lost in the minutia. I don't get lost in what position guys play. I look at how many points we score as a team. I don't care how we score. My teams have always been very good offensively, in the top 5 overall, and we score points.
Okay, so here's my whole problem with this. Number one, we've talked about this time and time again. It doesn't work between Joel Embiid, and Ben Simmons. Whether you want to talk about, who's playing what position, if you want to throw out there that they score 65% of the time, that's fine. But you still need to watch the game, and you still need to understand that does not work. Joel has only played 41% of the regular season games anyway since he was drafted with the team. And if you look at their numbers, they have been declining offensively and defensively over the last 3 years. So that's the point that you should address. That's number one. Number two, kids, when you move forward, whether it's in a relationship or on a job, please don't bring up your past, because there's a reason why that didn't work. And if it didn't work over there, don't use that as a motivating thing to say, well, that happened over here, so that's why this is going to work. If it worked over there, you would still be over there. This, to me, was a terrible introduction for Doc Rivers. I'm not going to go so far to say it's a disaster, but he's clearly hanging on to things that we've seen didn't work. He says, I've got my players do this. Your players didn't score in the fourth quarter of the winner-go-home game. You didn't really make the Blake Griffin, Chris Paul thing work. So please, what we're not going to do is bring up the past in a new situation as a motivating factor to think that you're going to succeed. I think he totally blew this interview. Chris, I'm going to go to you. What do you think? Do you think this answer was really bad?
I think I'm half with you, because your point on when he started to bring up his past and stuff, I'm like, okay, well, Doc, it's been a long time since 2008. Like, chill out, my guy.
Right.
But other than that, he has to go in there and he has to say the rah-rah stuff in the press conference in front of that's going to be seen by a bunch of 76ers fans. I had no problem with that, 65%. We all agree that it might be time for them to break up. But the majority of us also said let's see one more year with Doc Rivers and see if this is the time that it's time to break him up or not. We also said that. So for him to go in there and say what he said about that and light some positivity under that fire for, very upset 76ers fans, I have no problem with it. That's the point of these introduction, whatever they call it, press conferences or whatever. But other than that, yeah, when he talked about like, all my teams, I used to do that. I'm like, oh, you lost me, Doc. Don't start that, Doc, because don't do that.
The guy that introduced him ran down the accolades. So you literally are redundant at this point because he's already ran down the accolades. He talked about your Celtics championship. He did all that before you started talking. So my thing is, look, there's a lot. I just started. I'm new here. And he did mention that, but it's a 34-minute interview. But I think you just hit it and quit it at the top. And the funny part about it is the reporter that asked that question didn't mute himself. So as Doc is saying all these accolades about things that happened in the past, the reporter goes, like you can hear him say that. So embarrassing. But my thing is like, just take the high road and say, look, I've learned a lot. I think these guys on the team have probably learned a lot. We're gonna share information. We're gonna grow. Yeah, don't talk about the team from the past. I think he missed the mark on this one. So what we're not gonna do, kids, is use something that you're not even doing anymore as a sign that you might get it right this time. Don't do that. That is the lesson for the day, and you're welcome. But now it is time for Britt's Takes.
Britt's Takes.
All right, guys. So yesterday I was just scrolling on social media and I came upon this post that Matt Barnes had posted, and it basically was a meme thing. I don't know. It's not really a meme that has gone viral of Sean Oakman. And I was like, oh, Sean Oakman. I remember him because I covered this when I was in Louisiana. So Sean, I'm going to read this. Read along with me. Sean Oakman was predicted to be the first overall pick in the 2016 NFL draft by Sports Illustrated. That's until he was accused of rape the same year, 2 weeks before the draft. Instead of signing a $25 million contract and seeing his lifelong dream come true, Sean was arrested and would spend the next 3 years of his life trying to prove his innocence. Yesterday, he found out not guilty and the sex was consensual. Sean is now vindicated, but his dreams and career have been destroyed. Do you think that Sean deserves some type of financial reward? Me too. #me too. #him too. Well, if you guys are new to Britt's Take, I usually speak in facts, which is why my takes always end up coming right in some capacity, because then people are like, oh, yeah, that actually is right. We should probably do it like that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to speak facts, okay? We are going to clear some things up about this here meme that has now gone viral because it is not 100% accurate. So first things first, it said the Sports Illustrated said that he was going to be the #1 overall pick in the 2016 draft. Well, yesterday on the show, we talked about the early predictions for the 2020 or 2021 NBA champion. What did we all say? Too early, because the Sports Illustrated article that originally said that, which was one person that wrote that article, it was only one person that had said that. The article that came out days after the 2015 NFL draft. So before the 2018 NFL draft, guess what? You got to have a football season. You got to play for a season, and guess what? You got to play well. My guy did not play well during the 2015 season. To put things into perspective, he played so bad in he didn't play terrible, okay? So he actually, in 2014 season, which then was the 2015 draft, which is when he was suggested to be the #1 overall pick in the 2016 draft, which was premature, way too premature. suggestion, thought, mock draft or whatever, he had actually had 11 sacks that season. Fast forward to the 2015 season, which then he would have been in the 2016 draft class. He only had 4.5 sacks that season. So he did way less. His tackles were like half the number they were at the previous season. He had lost a lot of muscle in his legs and stuff like that. So they said his lower body was too thin. He is a defensive end, so they need to be strong in that capacity. And he had dropped, and so much so that he had dropped from potentially at the beginning of the 2015 season to be a first rounder. That was only one person that said he was a number 1 overall pick. And we got crazy people that say crazy stuff all the time. Their answer or their thing is no different than me saying something crazy. Sometimes you end up being right when you're crazy. Most of the times you end up being wrong. Yesterday, I just watched an article or a show about a guy, or a reporter was on it, and he said originally, back during the combine and stuff, he said Patrick Mahomes would be the best player in the NFL. Everybody laughed at him at that point because people did not think he was going to be the best player in the NFL. Fast forward to now, he gets to have that moment where, guess what, guys? I wasn't crazy. But that's not what this Sports Illustrator guy had, okay? He is the total opposite of that. He's what we usually are. We usually, when we say crazy things, we're usually wrong in that aspect. He was very wrong in this aspect. This guy was now, before the draft, he was projected to be a 3rd to 5th round pick, not even a first round pick anymore, prior to these allegations even come. So we all know what can happen in the 3rd to 5th round. We all know what can happen with first round picks, first overall picks. Look at Jamarcus Russell. I mean, there's so many people and so many stories we have. The Tim Tebows of the world, the what's his face? Johnny Manziel's of the world. You know, there's so many players that we predicted, we thought, even were drafted high and did not pan out in the NFL. So to say that this man was supposed to, as a rookie, get a first overall pick and get drafted and this, that, and the third, and because of these allegations that he lost his NFL career, so he should be compensated at least that $25 million. It's crazy. It literally is crazy because we see talent in the high school level, in the college level, even in the pros that ends up just not panning out to what we thought it was going to be all the time. And this guy, within that one season, had already dropped to a potential 3rd to 5th round pick. So let's move forward with this. So the next part, obviously, we need to look at is his history. So he actually originally was a Penn State football player, but he got kicked off the Penn State football team for domestic abuse. He had beaten up two girls. He had 2 incidences where he had hit a woman and then was kicked off the team for Penn State. And then that's when he played or transferred to Baylor. So he played 3 seasons for Baylor. His sophomore season there, he had to take the backup role because he was new to the team and all this kind of stuff. And he couldn't start the season because of all that had happened when he was at Penn State. And then once he was allowed to play, whatever, second season, he has a great year, his junior year, which was his best year, which is the year I was talking about with 11 sacks. And even that year, he wasn't first team or second team. He was 3rd team All-American, which is still a fleet. It's great in and of itself. But even at that moment, when he did have the 11 sack season, when he was good, he still wasn't one of the best players in college football at that time. And that was his better season. His senior season, he did not play very well at all. We get to this point, the allegations, and this one is different. It is a sexual assault allegation. The girl claimed that he had raped her and threw her on the bed and had raped her or whatever. So during that time that he was going through this legal situations with this or whatever, and the charge of sexual assault, the NFL, yes, there was NFL people that said, okay, well, he's probably undraftable now until this situation gets handled. But people weren't worried about him because we know the NFL has signed players that have been under situations before. A friend of mine, Michael Kendricks, has played in the league for a bunch of years after he was convicted of money laundering, and everybody knew he was going to go to prison. He was released from the Eagles and then after that signed with the Seattle Seahawks because they're like, well, until he goes to jail, we might as well have him on our team. And literally, he's played in the league since then. Right now, he doesn't have a job, but he's been playing in the league since then, even though he was already convicted and already knew he was going to go to jail. So if a team really likes you, they're going to sign you regardless. We all know this of the NFL. But whatever, he does it. He goes undrafted that season. Yes, it probably did have to do with the fact that not only the sexual assault thing, but he now has a record. He's had several situations. Your reputation precedes you. He's had several things in the past that has already gotten under him. He already did not have a good senior season. So you have all of that against him, but he is not doing all of this from behind bars. He is out. He is not in jail for this, and he has opportunities to go with other teams. He ends up trying to go to the arena. He goes undrafted in the arena league. Then he ends up playing a little bit there. And then obviously, if you are a Wildcat fan like me, you guys know that he played with the Los Angeles Wildcats this season for the return of the XFL. He originally was cut from the Wildcats team, but then it went on to play. So this is not a Brian Banks situation where he was in prison for 5 years and then tried to make it into the league after the fact, which Brian Banks did play for the Falcons for a little bit. This is a situation where the guy's been able to play this whole time. He just hasn't been that good. And I'm sick of people saying that, like, and to the point, I don't want to sound not nice in this moment, but Michael Sam is not in the league because he's gay. I don't think he's in the league because he's not very good. He got a chance and he's just not good. So to say that this situation happened and this guy is not in the league or not doing something because of it is ridiculous. We need to stop that. It's not a him too situation in this at all. He wasn't good. He had a whole season before that where he wasn't good. And the case, I don't know if this meme has been floating around for years and years. He actually was found not guilty at the beginning of 2019. And still since then, he has not been able to make an NFL roster. So, and he's still a young guy. He would have been drafted in 2016. So he was only 2 years removed from being in a chance to be in the league. And it wasn't like he wasn't playing football. He was playing football in the Arena League and in the XFL. So, sometimes you're just not good enough, my guy. So don't blame. I'm sick of hearing these. I hear stories every day of guys that are like 5'2", like, oh yeah, I was going to be in the NFL, but I got hurt when I was in junior high and I never made it. Like, stop. I don't want to hear this stuff anymore. You did not make it because you're not good enough. And you can still get better. You know, you're still a young player. You have an opportunity. You got your chance in the XFL. Unfortunately, is paused right now. He had actually a couple good games in the XFL. But don't sit here and blame it on the fact of this thing. Granted, I do believe if a person does some false accusations like that, they should go to jail as well. I think that situation was terrible. It sucks that he had to go through that. But this guy was not supposed to be the number 1 overall pick, and then this happened 2 weeks before. And I just wanted to make that clear because we talk facts over here, and I remember doing this story about you back in 2016 when I lived in Louisiana, and I was like, wait a second. There's a lot of things missing from this story, and I just wanted to make sure we cleared that up. So for anybody who followed Matt Barnes or anybody else who just made this go viral, this is not an accurate depiction of what actually happened. But good luck to you in your future endeavors. Maybe you get picked up this season because a lot of people are getting hurt in the NFL right now. But I don't have any questions. That is all I had to say. Make sure you read stuff, guys, read into stuff before you post about stuff.
I do that so much for
Britt, thank you so much for the facts, you guys. The real story. We got it here from Britt Johnson herself. So thank you so much for doing that. You guys, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure you do that now. Tap the bell for notifications. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. We will be back again at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. So make sure you tune in, wear a mask, wash your hands, and we'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.